Welcome to New Hampshire Politics with John Burt. I'm John Burt. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you had great holidays. Christmas just passed, the New Year's. I was overseeing my grandkids over the New Year's holiday. Matter of fact, I spent New Year's in Vermont. We stayed at the Hampton this time in Rutland. Normally we stay down in the Comfort Inn. They got a big pool. The Holiday Inn has a beautiful pool. But they got a brand new hotel, and I said, well, let's give it a try, and everything else was full. I mean, it shocked me. And so we looked at the price. They gave us an okay price. It was a little high, but we stayed there a couple nights, and the kids came over, but the pool was really small, but real nice hotel. But, boy, the kids have a fun. I got 6 grandkids, and they love me to death. And I mean, they love Grammy, my wife Phyllis. It's just funny, because when I show up, they're like, hi, Grammy, right to me, Grammy. And I mean, it's just, Phyllis thinks that it's because she's still the nurturing and the loving, and where I'm, hey, whatever you guys want to do, let's have fun. And what's nice this time, I hate to say it, but the past couple years, I wasn't getting in the pool with them. It was because I was pretty big, and I was kind of, not that I was embarrassed, but it just wasn't easy for me. Well, down 134 pounds now still, and that's the way it's going to stay. It's a lot easier for me to get in and out, and geez, we had a lot of fun. Phyllis took a little video of me in the pool with them, and we're running around, jumping, and it was just incredible. The fun we had, and I should bring in some pictures. I'll try to if I can find them. But I just have a lot of fun playing with them, and I got to get over there more. It's about 3-hour drive, and geez, the time just flies by. All of a sudden, it's been 4 or 5 months, and it's like, geez, I haven't seen them. And the oldest one's 16. I can't believe it. Boy, time flies. But I guess that's what's supposed to happen. They're supposed to grow up. And but William's the youngest. He's 11. And geez, he's a lot of fun. And Isaac, poor Isaac, he didn't want to go home. He wanted to stay at the hotel with us. And his mother says, no, you got to go home. We got big plans for New Year's. And Grammy and Grampy, they got plans too. And but Isaac, he didn't want no part of that. So he had a little trouble leaving. Like I said, I got to get over there, see him more, because time flies. But anyways, I was just up to the State House. When was it? The 4th of January. According to the Constitution, we have to meet that Wednesday. And now House session used to be on Wednesday, and it's being moved to Thursday. So committee, if you want to come up and testify against or for any bills, it's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday as committees, and Thursdays is House session day now. They changed it around, and I almost think it's a good change. I think it's going to work well for us, because then in case there's a special bill that's coming through, we can hear it on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we can debate it and vote on it on Thursday. So I think it'll work out. But I did take a picture, and I want to throw it up for you, and it's my it's these two here, and I'll show you behind me the picture. The one with the scenery with the old man, it has the blue in it. That's the 2015-2016 house. And then also the other one that's mostly white is the 2017 and 18. That's my brand new state rep badge that because of you're the voters, allow me to be your representative I get to have. They just took that on the 4th of January. I just wanted to show you the difference. It's huge. It's a big difference. And I'll tell you, I am so glad I had that sleeve surgery. And if you want any information on it, contact me, with my email, john@burtnh.com, or look me up on Facebook, or give me a call at home. It has served me well. And like I always say, surgery is not for everybody, but it really has been good for me. I'm glad I did it. But just looking at the two pictures is pretty incredible. And so I want to talk a little bit about what we did on the 4th. And It was really funny. I'm going to get the clip of it too. Oh, one thing, I put the picture, I just remembered. I put the picture up on my Facebook page, and I wrote on the bottom, I said, one thing is the same on those, and it's Speaker Sean Jasper. I'm wondering, is it because of him I lost so much weight? and of course, a bunch of comments are down through. A lot of support. A lot of people say, "Oh, did a great job, John." And, but of course, there's a couple. Yeah, it's probably the speaker. I like picking on them. But on the 4th, what we basically do is we meet by the Constitution. We're already sworn in December. I think it's the first or second Wednesday of the month in December we get sworn in as your state representatives. But then we do the rules. That's it, because there's no bills. There's nothing to do. We're just getting the bills and we're talking about them. And I got some bills coming up I want to talk about that are coming. It was so funny. It was House Rule 2. What they wanted was a dress code. Now we already have, it says please dress appropriately, business attire. But there's no enforcement or guidelines. Well, they wanted enforcement, but they didn't give any guidelines. So a bunch of reps got up there and complained, saying, okay, well, what is business attire? What do you want us to look like? And there's no rules on it. But they want to be able to say, hey, we don't like the way you look today, out of here. Well, we can't have that. And, and I know that wasn't their intentions, but that's what some were saying. That could happen, which technically it could. So a bunch of people wanted a roll call. So that way they put the the reps on record of who voted for how which way. And this was to pass it. So just as the speaker is ready to say we're going to vote on this, everybody says, John, stand up. So I stand up because everybody thinks I'm the roll call king. It was so funny. And I'm very, nobody, I've never been told they can't hear me. So I stand up quickly before he calls the roll, and I say, roll call, Mr. Speaker. Everybody looks, because they can all hear me, and the speaker looks right at me. And he goes, Representative Burt wants a roll call, and he is the first one that called, is the first roll call of the term. And everybody applauds and laughs, because it came from me. So it's just so funny the way it came down. But the vote, I voted red to kill the bill, and the vote was 151 green and 213 red. So the bill went down. So, sorry, Mr. Speaker, but that bill was not, or the rule, it was not something we needed, that I thought. Sadly, they did try, and J.R. Houle did a good job. He's a good friend of mine. The Democrats did a good job. They got up there, and it was to do away with the Children and Family Law Committee. The family courts are a mess. Since this committee has been enacted, it's even more of a mess. I don't think this is doing any good to any children. But the Democrats and Representative Houle and a few others got up there and said, oh my God, the children, we gotta have this for the children. Well, the vote came out 172 green, which I voted for, to keep, to get rid of the committee, to 196. So that failed. So now the Children and Family Law Committee is coming back. Now what they were gonna do, and I agreed with this, is they were gonna take all of the Children and Family Law bills that were coming, and there's not a lot, maybe a dozen if that, and put them into, criminal justice, which I'm on, public safety, and HHS, which is Health and Human Services, and Elderly Affairs, and Judiciary. And I'm thinking, that's where they should be. Divide them up for what they are. But sadly, it's not going to happen that way. So they won that one. The last one, there were several of them. There wasn't too much going on. Oh, this one, Rep. Tim Smith put this one in. And I'm sure the guy's a nice guy. But I'll tell you, he doesn't have a lot of support up there. And it's just his demeanor, again, nice guy, but just, he isn't, I don't know what it is about him, but he puts in this bill, or this rule change. He wanted this rule change that he said, which I agree, but of course leadership said it never happens. When we hear a bill, the chair always picks the government, the lobbyist, and whoever supports his, or what the chair wants or leadership wants, for the position to speak first. And people that are against it sometimes might have to wait a couple hours. And what that does is it discourages people from talking. And then, of course, the reps, they're all glazed over after an hour of listening to testimony. So, there are chairs that do this. I like John Thal, but he did it a couple times. He didn't want to hear from the other side. Well, what this amendment did to the rules was to allow you, the voter, to speak first if, and it was all written out. And how do you write it out? Now, the best effort basics. So, just try to let the public speak first. And then the paid lobbyist and the paid state employee that's sitting there begging for money, they can wait. They're being paid by the taxpayers. These people took time off. So I supported Tim on this. So I go up and I was going to ask him a question. Well, of course, I don't think he cares for me. So he sees me up there and I do the question mark and the speaker writes me down. And then all of a sudden he says, "Representative," to Tim Smith, "will you take a question?" He looks over. "No, I'm not taking any questions." And he leaves. And I'm like, come on. Because what I was going to say, and I would have got votes for this for him, is, "Representative, thank you for taking my question. Would you be shocked, because we never vote alike, would you be shocked if I agree 100% with you and I'm going to vote with you?" And then, of course, he would have said, "Yes, I am very shocked," because, again, we don't vote together. I mean, we're the complete opposites. But that would have got some votes for him. But, of course, he runs off. So the bill went down in flames. What was it? 121 green, which I voted for, to 242. Yeah, that thing went down. So I was like, well, it was on his own. Well, that's basically what we did there. And then, I did want to talk a little bit about ice racing. Ice racing's coming up. I got a good friend that goes and he sends me an email on if they do it or not. He takes a bunch of pictures up there. I've never been until, there wasn't any last year. Kind of sad because we didn't have any snow or ice. It wasn't, I think they have to have 12 inches. But the year before I went up once, maybe. I don't think I went twice. I think I wanted to, but incredible. If you ever get a chance to go see it, I mean, it is a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's up past Meredith on Berry Pond in Moultonboro is where I go. And I think there's a couple others from what I'm being told. But one thing that I wanted to point out, if you look at the one picture with the chains on it, when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I don't want to be run over by those puppies. And I guess they chew up the ice pretty thick, from what I understand. They can chew it up 6 inches. And another thing I didn't realize is either, but you have to, you can race twice, I guess, up to twice on the same track, and then you got to kind of move it over to the side or move it out or in or whatever, how they do it. Because I guess it just chews it up. And there's not enough time within that week for it to freeze solid enough where the chains won't just rip it right back up real quick. But it's really, really cool. So if you ever get a chance to go up, you should. And give me a holler. Maybe we could ride up together or something, have fun, or meet up there. There is a guy that he brings up some grills and stuff. He'll have hamburgers and hot dogs and other food like that. And I mean, it's just a fun time. I go up with my brother-in-laws. We just have a lot of fun going. But I do want to talk about some possible bills that are coming up. And one of them is constitutional carry. I've been there for going into my 5th year, my 4th term. Is it? geez, you know what? It's my 7th year. Wow. We need term limits. And it might be me this time. Yeah, I'm going to term limit myself out. This is probably going to be my last term. I'm really considering it. Because I really do need to move on and go back to the real world and make money. Because I'm 56, so I'll be 58 when I'm done. That'll give me 10 good years to make some good money. And then, when I retire, I probably will go back. And I love being up there for you guys. I really think I do my job. I think I listen to you. It doesn't matter who calls me, Republican, Democrat, Independent, whoever, Libertarian. I'm going to do my job, and I'll represent you. Now, I'm not going to vote with you all the time, on what you think is right, because I have to vote how I feel the majority of my constituents want. And we live in a conservative town, Goffstown, Ware, and Deeren. But with Vermont carry, or as I call it, Vermont carry, a constitutional carry, what that does is 8 states currently have it, if I got the numbers right. Vermont has always had it. That's where I'm from. And what constitutional carry means is you don't have to have a license to carry a gun. So that means you can get in your car with a hidden gun, however you want to carry it. You can always open carry, and there's no law against that. But once you put it in your coat, that's concealed. Once you put it in the car, it's concealed. You got to call the government, the police, or the selectmen, whichever town you live in, and beg them, may I please carry my gun? Well, the police are against it for some reason in New Hampshire. Maine, Vermont support it. Vermont has had it since day one before. But the states that have it, Vermont, Arizona, Arkansas, Idaho, Kansas, Mississippi, and Missouri just passed it January 1st. And you know what? I've been watching the news because this is what we're going to hear in criminal justice. If we pass this, there's going to be dead people lined in the street. So right down here in Goffstown, there's going to be a duel. People are going to come out and start shooting each other. That's what they say. And it's like, really? Why isn't it happening? And I've been looking at the Missouri news. I haven't heard it. Maine passed it well over a year, if I remember right. I think it's been a year and a half almost, a year and a quarter, because I know it was October, but it was a year before that. They passed it, and guess what? All is fine. Yeah, you don't need that piece of paper. The piece of paper only restricts law-abiding citizens. That's it. So hopefully that's going to pass. The other bills that are coming up is there's a measure to ban flying drones over correctional facilities. They want it to be a Class A misdemeanor. Last year we had the same bill in front of us. The FAA showed up and they came up and they said, you can do whatever you want, but there's no law. You can't pass a law against this. So I don't know why this bill is back here. FAA says they own all airspace. We cannot restrict airspace to anybody, even over the correctional facilities. I know why they want to, because they're saying they're using drones to drop drugs and everything else. Well, I don't know what you're going to do about it, because according to the feds, they own the air. What's the other ones? Oh, Rep Murphy, he wants to, down in Bedford, he wants to switch New Hampshire to Atlantic Standard Time, but only if Massachusetts does it. I like Rep Murphy. He's a great guy. He owns that, Murphy's restaurant over on Elm Street. I want to talk to him because I don't understand the bill. So right now, if it's 7 o'clock p.m. here, it's 8 o'clock. I looked it up online. It's 8 o'clock Atlantic time. So I think he wants to do away with the clock switching back and forth, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. So I guess I got to figure out why that one, and why if Massachusetts does it. I don't want to do much of what Mass does. What's the other one? I like this one. Rep Barrow. I don't know who he is. He's got to be a new one. He just put in a new bill. Is this the one? Yes, where you can order your own lab test. Some people don't have a lot of money. That was me at one time. And if you need a lab test, you got to get the doctor's permission to do it. Well, that costs money.
Why can't you just go to the lab and say, hey, I'd like to get this test? But no, you got to have the lab, and then you got to have a doctor read it, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is going to allow you, the individual, to make personal responsibility, for your own being. That sounds good to me. What's the other one? This one, I don't think this is going to go. I mean, do I somewhat agree with it? Yes. Senator Walters, he's a Democrat over in Dover. I mean, way off to the side Democrat. I mean, I really don't know the guy. He wants to ban any smoking in a car if you have, I think, under 16 years old inside the car. I mean, should you smoke around your kids? I mean, the evidence is so much out there. No. Should you smoke in a car with your kids? You probably shouldn't smoke in the car with anybody, to be honest. My lungs is just as valuable as a 10-year-old's. But I just don't see this bill going anywhere. I mean, that's just a nanny state bill, and I'm going, no, it's probably going to die. What's the other one? Oh, yeah, she wants to, who is it? Matthews, a real nice lady, Raymond, she's a Republican. She wants to do away, or not do away, but protect beavers. At one time, they wanted to do away with trapping. I helped kill that bill. And of course, everybody says, oh, John Burt's an animal hater. Well, I'm not, but I understand. I'm not a big fan of trapping because I look at it and go, ooh, it isn't a good, quick, easy, like a shot way to die, but I understand the value in trapping. Massachusetts spends millions and millions and millions with all these beavers they have. I mean, we have to trap them. I'm sorry. It's what we have to do. So she wants to do it in a way where it's more humane. So we take the beavers and bring them over to Ware and dump them off and say, hey, see you later. Well, for one, I think it's against the law to transport these animals like that. I think somebody did tell me that, like those Save-A-Heart traps. If you catch a squirrel and you want to bring it over to your neighbors like 10 miles down the road and drop them off and think you're doing good, well, for one, you broke the law because it is against the law to transport animals like that in those Save-A-Heart traps. And then you're just giving your problems to your neighbors down the road. Don't do it. Dispose of the squirrel properly or whatever. Rip Christie, this is another bill I'm hoping will die, and I'm going to speak against it. She wants to put a bill in to allow municipalities to ban plastic bags. Well, you know what? Because it kills animals and other things. Well, the tree huggers of this country back in the 80s did away with paper bags. They put a whole industry out of business virtually. You can't find very many paper bags anymore. In my eyes, paper bags was good. It was all the scrap wood, stumps, everything else was ground up and made into paper bags. Paper bags provided millions of jobs. Oil makes plastic bags. Not paper bags. Paper bags is natural. It's renewable, everything else. I'm a big fan of paper bags. But here's what happened is they forced all these stores to switch to plastic. They do, and now they found out the millions of animals they kill a year, and they're like, oh my God, we got to ban these things now. So what's next? No. You know what I say? This is what you wanted. You're going to live with it. Well, I got a bunch of more other bills, but we're running out of time because I got a meeting later, and so we're going to cut short. One real quick one. They want to make, it's for distilleries of spirits. So where is it? So he says if you want to make your own brandy, you're going to be able to if this law passes. So I'm thinking, hey, yeah, I'll vote for that. If you guys want to make it, knock yourself out. Well, again, I want to thank you for watching, and I just have a great time up in Concord representing you. And until next time, I'll see you next week. Bye now.